What are we doing today? Commissions? I think that's what we're doing, right?
Yes, the magic word.
All right, so commissions. All right, so at this point, we've already gone through DocuSign training, we've done the compliance training. So we know how to fill out the documents, how to get them sent off and signed, then we know how to upload them and get them approved by the market center, and now we've gone to closing and we're looking to get paid, right? So that's kind of where we are. Or we have a rental, Lisa's signed, check is out in the office, and we need to get paid on that as well. So we're gonna go over a couple different scenarios, because the rental commission looks a touch different than the buyers and listings. It's exactly the same. There's a few different scenarios here that we'll run through that you'll see. So we'll just go through and do a buyer first. So we'll just choose this buyer that I'm working with, and we'll just assume that that close price was going to be whatever we have listed here, this 875 number. So this is assuming, right, that we do have a ratified contract, so that we have obviously uploaded that ratified contract. It's not uploaded here because I don't have a ratified contract yet, but it would be for this next step to happen, right? So then we click over to offers and commissions, right? And as of now, it's just a blank screen, right? So what we have to do is there's this button that says add new offer. So we'll do that. I'd like to just accept an offer here. I'm going to create, and then we're just going to put the details of the offer essentially. The offer date is just the date that that you wrote it. The close date is going to be whatever date that you have on the contract as the closing date. It can obviously change, so you can go back and update this. But for this, it just has to be a date that's after the offer date. Rarely would you close on the same day that you offered. I guess it's possible. I've never seen it. So we'll just choose a date that's roughly 30 days in the future. And we will just put a make-believe address in here. We'll say we're buying the office. We'll go on to parties. Here, we're just gonna be looking for the seller name. You can get this from the contract. This is from a perspective of a buyer. So it will just be the name that was on the contract. Seller name here. You don't necessarily, I don't know why they need the email and the phone and the fax and the address is for a buyer, like the address is the same as where you're buying. So, I mean, I don't fill that stuff out. I don't think you need to waste your time with it. The associate's name, this is the agent on the other side. So you would put their name. I would put their name and email and phone number here. This is essentially the co-op agent. I think that, what do you call it? Patrick is then able to use that information if you put it in there. Or you can go look at the contracts and find it too. But I would make a habit of putting the other agent's information there. So from there, we're going to click on the terms of it. And this is literally you're just copying and pasting from the contract. So how much was financed? How much was their down payment? What was it? 875. So what does it say? They financed 75,000. And if you're playing the home game, that's probably 800,000 cash. No, I reversed that, but that's fine. They wanted to take a loan out for 75,000 for whatever reason.
That's all they had left after a night at the casino.
Normally it's 1%. We'll just put 10,000. Oh. So as you can see there, it works on both ends. If you just put 10,000, it'll do the percent for you, or if you put the percent, 6%, whatever you decided on, maybe 3%, then it'll adjust the earnest amount. So you can put it on one side or the other, and it'll adjust the other one.
Okay.
We don't have option fees here in Virginia. I believe this is a Texas thing and probably some other states. I've never taken the time to look up what it is, honestly, but we don't deal with that here. So not something you need to worry about. The buyer will give notice of termination within blank amount of days. You know, you put this in here and it doesn't really feed anything. This is something that you need to know though, obviously. This is essentially the last contingency day. The last day of the last contingency that your buyer would have. So normally that's gonna be the financing contingency. So, normally that's gonna be 21 days. If you're filling that thing out, you can fill it out a couple different ways. You can do it for automatic extension or automatic expiration, I think is the other one. So if you do it the way I do it, I always do automatic extension. Never had anyone push back to ask me to change it or request that I change it. So I always just do automatic extension. That way I never have to release it. It's always good to have that in your back pocket, I think, but this market is a bit weird, so.
Nobody asked you like,
I've never had a listing agent call me and ask me to remove the finance addendum
No.
when you could get it put.
yeah, but like if I list a house, I would like to do that
Okay,
to make sure.
I've never had anyone do it,
No, yeah, neither I.
so. But they probably should, if they're looking after their sellers, they probably should get those contingencies removed, so they know that
Yeah.
they're, you're locked in there. So. And then we move on to seller costs, a residential service contract, that's gonna be if your seller is operating a home warranty. And then seller will contribute to settlement costs, that's gonna be if they gave money towards like. Say you had an inspection and they agreed, all right, let's just do a $5,000 credit. Or if there's if you wrote in seller subsidy into the first page of the contract, you know, paying for closing costs. That's where you would enter that number. And then we go on to agent analysis. This is probably better this is more functional from a listing perspective side. This is where you would put the pros of the contract, obviously, as it stated right there in front of us. What's good about it, what's bad about it, and then what your professional opinion is based on that contract, on the different terms of it, right? With the idea that you would have multiple offers, you could write up all these different offers, and this, I'm talking from a listing perspective side. And then you could essentially send this to your client, and then they could see your breakdown of all the offers, all the amounts, what you think of it, what's good about it, what's bad about it, and then a summary of it. And they could essentially go and just choose one of those options. Yeah.
So this duplicates there are all kinds of templates for the offer comparisons.
Sure.
So this basically duplicates that.
Right. So use it, don't use it, but it is an option. And like I said, it's from more of a listing perspective side.
Yeah.
I wouldn't waste your time on the buyer side. I mean,
Yeah.
you put the offer in. Or they put it, you put it in for them,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I don't know why you would do it for this, so I'm gonna hit save. Okay, so we're obviously gonna accept it because it got ratified. That's why we're doing this. All right, so we're gonna accept it, and then we get a couple different options here. We can then change the response, which is us editing some part of this offer, or we can manage the commission, or we go here and changing the response allows you to then unaccept the offer. And we can send it. I wonder what that looks like when we send it. Oh shit! Oh no, I don't want to send that to them. I thought it sent with one button. That would
That would have gotten his attention.
I know. I sent it to myself. Holy cow. Let's give you a preview. Okay, so this is a preview of what it looks like. Let's just look at the preview so we don't, start sending stuff that clients don't need to see. So this is a preview of what it would look like if you sent it to a seller. It would say their name, seller name. We didn't put a name in there.
Mhm.
It's gonna say, it shows the price, it shows how much they're putting down, how much the earnest money deposit is, shows the close date. There's 0 termination day notice, so they know there's no contingencies. And if we put a pros and we put some cons in a summary, then they would know. Does it allow them to accept it though? Not based on the preview. what if email will
John,
let them do
I
it?
was just saying, if you want, send it to me and
I know, I just don't know if I send it from this.
will anybody get a copy?
Yeah, I don't want to take the risk. I would have to make a fake opportunity. And then obviously you can change the subject title of the email and the email message. I'll have to test that more before. I just don't want to. Yeah. We've lost too many offers for me to mess with that one. Okay, let's manage the commission on this stuff. Literally last night we lost another one and I was like,
Oh,
yeah, I was,
it's a lot of that going around.
yeah. A lot of losing for everybody. Okay, so we have general information. These are the big parts of the contract. It's the sales price, it's the commission rate, adjust. Any of this stuff can be adjusted as needed. There's this box that says edit general information. As you can imagine, when you click that, it lets you edit all those options. These two boxes work exactly like those other boxes worked. They're interchangeable. If you know the total commission, then you can put 15,000. Right, it'll update the commission rate, right? This is helpful if, let's say, you're giving the buyer a credit and now the rate is just totally weird, but you know how much the commission is gonna be. So you can put in that like $17,540. That's a lot of commission there. And then it'll, wow, that's exactly 2%. No way, that's not possible. I think 500, I think the 40 is messing it. Yeah, okay, it's rounding, I was like, there's no way that that's 2%. That's insane. Anyway, and then we have the unit count. This is only gonna change if you're on a team, the unit count, you know, how units get divvied out. Normally, a rainmaker will take all the units, and all of their underlings will get no units, but whatever their split is. Probably should use the word underlings, you know, team members. Yeah, that's much softer.
Acolytes.
Anything you see a red asterisk, you know, danger, fill something in. You don't need a contract date. I still don't know why, when you put a contract date for the offer, that it doesn't transfer that information over. It's super annoying. But we just did it, so we know the date. Takes half a second. All right, so then that's gonna update over here. We get a little spinning guy or girl thing.
Hamster.
Yeah. It's- I don't know. I won't get into it, I guess. Come on, spinny thing. Do your things. Give the page a refresh. Okay, there we go. We updated. Okay. So the other thing we want to look out for is now we have down here, edit agent payment. Okay, so we did the big level stuff. We got our unit, the closing date, the commission rate, all that's great. We look over here though, and there's a lot of agents that charge an admin fee, right?
Mhm.
Let's say, for example, you paid for a repair with your credit card, and you get reimbursed at closing. That happens, you know, you're paying for something that you know you're gonna get paid for, the seller's paying you, the buyer's paying for it. But it was just easier for you at the time to do it. I've done that
Right.
before.
Yeah, I've done that.
And they're like, I'll just pay out of proceeds. Okay, fine, whatever, I'll take care of it. And it'll get paid at closing. Like I said, bonuses, let's say, you have to pay a referral to another agent in the office, because they sent you this, or you're paying a referral to somebody else. Like, it's a little weird. Let's just consider that part of the office. We're gonna do that here in the edit agent payment. So let's talk about what it looks like to do a bonus. So you would edit the agent payment. Scroll down here. I'm gonna add an item. We have the bonus option, and most times it's gonna be a $3.99 or $4.99 bonus amount. admin fee.
Oh, admin
Would
fee,
people
yeah.
Admin fee.
Yeah, you say admin fee, and everyone lights up. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's I don't charge it, but some people do. They like that extra $500. I guess if you have on staff admin, it's your way of essentially covering that. If you're doing like 25 or 30 transactions a year, you charge $500 for that, that adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And you could cover an admin cost with that almost. So
My experience is these days does not go down well with the client.
it's a very tough market to ask for extra money right now.
Yeah,
Because they're having a hard time seeing our value with how fast stuff is flying. So it's up to us to present
Yeah.
things in a way that
Yeah.
makes it easier for them to swallow those dollars, I suppose.
yeah, I don't like to charge really, but yes, a lot of people do.
But yeah, everyone runs their business. I know,
Yeah.
I still know a lot of agents that charge it and they still
Uh-huh.
get away with it. I know Patricia uses it.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure she uses an admin fee.
Mm. Yeah,
Not that I'm like putting her business out there. If you wanted to go ahead and donate to any of the KW Bold Scholarship, KW Cares or Kids, KW Kids Can. That's a can drive where they collect cans, I guess. It's not. I don't know what it is, but I should look into it though. That sounds interesting. Then you can do that from here as well. And they're gonna ask you again when you submit this. So then we'll save the changes. And again, this will be updated. See the bonus here. So that'll go into our total payment. Here we'll also see our updated payments in relation to our royalty and based on our split with the office, right? Everyone has a little different split. It's gonna look a little different. So your mileage may vary based on, but the 3,000, everybody pays the 3,000, doesn't matter who you are. No one is above paying the International Space Station, that is Keller Williams.
Yeah. It goes to corporate.
Yeah, that's corporate's money, that's not our money. It's a pass-through. So that 6% comes off of everything. And what else? Let's see, we can add another agent to this. That's what if we were gonna add a referral. So if like, Patricia gave you a referral or you gave her a referral, then you could go ahead and search for her name here. Probably she wouldn't get any units in that case. But maybe, I don't know, $5,000.
yeah, I never did referral.
I can see the changes that get thrown in there. If you do anything makes the math not work out. Let's see how we could do that. So if I went here to edit agent payment and I change this to like 300. So the math shouldn't work now. When I hit submit. Right? It's gonna tell you there's a problem. Remaining agent commission balance, $200. Right? So it's telling us a total agent commission does not equal total commission for the opportunity. There's a $200 miss here. So we have to go through and most times if it says that, it's our fault. Not our fault, but it's our error somewhere.
Mhm.
So check the numbers, make sure your total commissions, and you can quickly see agent gross commission is 17,300 here, it's 17,500 here. So in this case, I would just edit the agent payment, save the changes, and then when I do that, it clears that error, right? So pretty easy. And then we hit submit. I'm just gonna submit and see what happens. Right. So then it asks you again,
Mhm.
and once again here asking for you to donate.
Kids Care is
So
a,
it empowers the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs with the tools to remove limiting beliefs, take action, and live it. So let's
Yeah,
learn
that's
more.
a-
What is that?
it's like high school age kids,
Is it?
kind of career guidance.
Oh,
things.
okay. You looked into this already?
A while ago, yeah.
Wow. $500,000 has been awarded to students so far. Well, that's pretty cool. There you go. So then we could skip that, we could donate, or we could donate and submit. We're not gonna submit it because then Brian has to do something, but if you get this screen, that means they'll let you submit. Keep that in mind. All right, let's quickly do, not quickly, but let's go over what a lease commission would look like, because those get a little screwy. We're usually paying two people in that situation. Let me just clear this one. All right, so for this, we're gonna have to actually create a, we'll just do a, let's do it from a tenant. Excuse me.
Bless you.
All right, we'll just pick a client, I don't know, that one. Lease price was 2,500. Pretty normal, pretty standard commission for a tenant is 25%.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
we all know that's 500 or 2,500. Like active and application submitted. And let's just create, just so we can get to the commission part. So as you can see up here, it's pretty, it's missing the, what do you call it, the buyer and seller updates button here at the top. So we can just go straight to commissions. Again, make sure you have all your documents submitted before you get to commissions, have a ratified lease, and then we'll enter in the commission. And just like the other one, it's very similar, it's just, it's like a slight little, there's just fewer options here and different verbiage, but lease signed and an occupancy date. So when we edit the general information, and again, a little difference here is there's no percentage, we're just putting the amount that we're getting paid. Be $500. We'll say we signed it on 20th, and they're gonna occupy today. And we'll save changes. And then that's pretty much it for a tenant. Pretty simple from a tenant perspective. And just wanted you to know that it's, you know, some of the verbiage is different. There's not going to be a percentage. And that's really it. Pretty simple from that perspective. Where it gets a little tricky is if we're doing, if you're the listing agent on a lease, because then you got to pay a co-broker. So in that case, we'll keep it on this screen, but you can just add this co-broker payment here.
Mhm.
And what you need in this case is, and hopefully you already got it by now, would be their W-9.
Right.
So use that W-9 to fill out their tax ID number. Almost every time it's gonna be EIN. If it's from another brokerage, there's no way that brokerage is set up with a social security number. Just for tax reasons. It's gonna be an EIN number. The company and the pay to, I mean, it'll probably be the same, I guess.
Typically.
It should be the same.
Yeah.
And then the agent's name, and the address can be the address of the brokerage, okay? I put the phone of the brokerage phone and then put the agent's email there. Right. Not gonna let me save it because I don't have any of this information. But then we would add in that amount and then it would essentially break out that from our $500, that was the total commission. In this case, if we were still getting our 500 and we were giving out, and we were the listing agent, then total commission would probably, hopefully, would be a full month's rent. And then that co-broker would be getting, we'd be giving them the 500. Because we'd be giving them 25%, we'd be taking that 75%. For all the trouble. I mean, expertise.
All the trouble we've seen.
Yeah, that we probably created it for ourselves. Does that make sense, to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. I know it can get complicated or seem complicated, but really we're just trying to make numbers match, you know?
Yeah.
That's all we're doing here.
And make Brian's life easier.
And make Brian's life just a touch easier. And this gets easier by doing this sooner rather than later. Like for leases, it's a little different because usually we get checks so quickly after a lease is created and signed. So from that perspective, it's tough to do this any sooner than you have to. But for listings and buyers, I mean, when you get that ratified contract, and most of the time these things are pretty contingency light. Let's get these commission requests submitted and let's knock out these problems before we get checks in the office. So he can have, he doesn't have a stack of checks that he's waiting to pay because they got a bunch of problems with it and people haven't submitted the documents or they haven't even submitted the commission request or they even created an opportunity for it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know where that check goes, right? So order operations is you have a contact, you create the opportunity, you get her in a contract, submit all those contracts in the documents tab, create the commission, go to closing, all this is done, you get paid.
Yeah. Yeah, in a lease situation, I've had to wait a long time if there's a management company involved,
Mm-hmm.
because whatever they do.
Yep.
And it's not just me, the landlord's agent also is
Is
just
waiting,
hanging out, yeah, waiting for something to happen at the management company.
yeah, because they're the one taking in the checks and everything. Yeah. Are there any questions with that or any questions with command in general?
Yes,
Okay,
how I can send emails, like mass emails, like.
yeah, that's a pretty big question. It's not a very quick question to answer. But what I would say, only because there's a lot of different types of emails you can send. Like I'm not sure what type of email you want to send.
Like when I write something like, was nice to meet you, because I did an event on
Well,
Saturday, and I would like to send a email saying like, thank you for coming. Like, I want to know, like, if I want to send, I mark my name and I want to know how I can send an email to me.
okay.
And
So
then
it's
I
not,
can
it's not
figure
the
it
best
out.
for one-off emails. If you just want to send a one-off thank you email, I probably wouldn't use command for that. I'd go to your email app or just your Gmail or whatever you're using. But if you want to do it for like a mass thank you email
Uh-huh.
for like an event and all those people from the event are in command, then I would probably go through and create an email and then mark that email to be sent to everybody. So to create an email is fairly easy. You're going to use your designs template here. It's right under reports here. It's the third one from the bottom.
Well, so I am in the contacts, right?
No, you have to have all the contacts in.
Yeah,
But first-
I have the contacts in.
Right, so once they're all in, you're gonna go to designs and create the email. So
What is
designs,
that? Okay.
all right, so all of the things on the left-hand side are called apps.
Yeah.
It's like a phone, right?
Yeah.
So when I say designs or smart plans, or if I say tasks or contacts or reports or consumer or listings,
Yeah.
I think that's all of them. And if you don't know what they are, just based on the pictures, if you click on the red KW,
Okay.
it-
Design.
it'll show the names for them.
Okay.
So what you would do here is we would essentially create a design and then we would choose the email option.
Yeah.
And then they have a lot of different templates. I would probably start off by looking for a template that fit you the best. There's 72 templates total.
Yeah.
You can search. Is there like a thank you template? Classic Happy Thanksgiving. That's not a thank you. Newsletter, classic sell. Protect your credit, healthy home. These are a lot of open house, personal. Chill your bills. Interesting. And they're probably gonna update some more of these. Approachable for sale. We have an event invite. That's just listed. I wonder if there's an event thank you though. I bet it would look pretty similar to the invite though.
Yeah.
Let's just choose that one and see what it looks like. So then We choose that one. All right, so we probably want to change the image, but this is a good for an invite too, though. I'll tell you what, let's go back and just create our own. That might be easier. So I'm gonna go back, email, say create. And I'm gonna start from blank here at the top. So from here, what I like to do first is give it a header always. And that's just gonna put our name and all of our information and our Market Center logo based on our marketing profile, which should be updated. And then probably an image I would add over here. I would find a good image first. Let's see here. Just search Google for like a thank you image. Images. That's a good one. Save image as. Thank you. And I'm gonna go back to there. Let's edit that picture. Add image. Oh, it's right there. I had a JPEG. Okay, cool. Done. That is really small though. What happens if we make it bigger? Does it look like? Does it look bad? Let's edit that image. You can change the proportions of it. Maybe let's make that 700 width. It's a square, so 700 height. Hit done. Too big. Let's do 500. Quick done. Okay. It's not a great picture. I'd find a better picture than that. But then from there, I'm going to add a text box. Right. So then now I can write all my text in here. And when you do that, just make sure to hit the little pencil button.
Mhm.
So then we can write our text, and you can do it from, like what I would do is you're going to say, thank you, space. Over here, we have the option to do, it'll insert any of these items. So what we want to look for is contact first name. So what that means is it will say thank you. And if we're sending it to a contact, it's going to automatically put in their first name. Right. And then I want to hit comma. And then you can write your message, whatever you want to type here, blah, blah, blah. You want to write a couple paragraphs, whatever. And then sincerely, and then your name, whatever that is.
And I can put like many emails and the other one to short, only going to short to one person, like the person open the email. I don't want anybody see I sent to the other ones, right?
The name is, it's just going to look like it came directly to them. The name is going to update for everybody.
Okay.
All right, so that we get done. I would always put in probably a legal footer too. If you don't think it makes it look too personal, then maybe don't do that, but this is what it's going to look like. A legal footer. I'd probably put it in that. All right, so this is just a test email, and then we're going to hit save. So to me, this doesn't look the best, but I made this in 2 seconds. I would try using some of the already created ones and then just changing the words around is what I would do.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to. Okay, so let's do that. We're gonna save changes. So now we want to go to campaigns. Because we created our email. And technically you can do this from, anyway, let me just finish. We're going to create a campaign at the top right. It's going to be an email campaign. And you can just call it other. All right, we'll call this a thank you for coming. Make sure you have command email checked. Create campaign. Thank you for coming. This is so the send to is we need to create a list. So if you have organized your database by tags, this makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I do.
So you would choose the tags that you would like to add to this list. Like if I want to send to all my A's, I can just click on my A's. And the list name would be A list peeps. I would select all and then confirm. So that's going to send to all my A list people, right? Because I created that list.
I'm sorry, when you went to campaign, you went to direct mail or mail?
When I went to campaigns, I hit create campaign.
Yeah, and after that,
I chose email.
email.
That's what we're setting an email.
Okay.
All right, so then we're gonna add a subject, whatever that is. And for the content, we're gonna select the design, but we already made that design, right? The test email. All right, we're going to save and exit because that's the email we just created. And then it pops up over here what it's gonna look like. And then we hit send on the top and it gets sent out to everybody. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and choose one of the templates directly. You could skip the whole design aspect and just go directly here and go straight to using one of the templates and just modify the template.
I think that will be easier.
It would probably be easier to do it that way. And then you can just modify an already created email, change the words around. So I could just do like a this healthy home one looks interesting. There we go. She looks very relaxed. And then just keep in mind that when you choose one of the already created ones, you click on the text box. You can delete the text box or you can edit the text box using the pencil. So whenever you want to edit something, just click on what you want to edit and then hit the pencil. And then it pops up over here. You can edit the words. If you ever want to know what it looks like, they have the little eyeball up here, and you can preview that email of what it's going to look like when it gets sent out.
Okay.
Right. So then we would hit save and exit at the top when we were done. This is the email that's going to go out. We can either send it, we can save it as just a draft, or we can schedule it to get sent out at another time. So what you could do is when you sent out your invites, you could already schedule the thank you email, and you could schedule the thank you email for the day after, and you can do them both at the same time. That way you don't have to remember to do anything, you just do them both at the same time. You can send the invite, schedule the thank you. Two birds, two stones. But you're throwing them at the same time. So
Shotgun.
yeah. I don't even know if that makes sense, but anyway, that's how you would send a quick email campaign. And that's a really quick way of showing that because I could dive way further into that. I don't know how much further I could do it, I'll be honest. But pretty simple. I mean, you could literally put an email together, one of those standard ones,
Yeah.
copy all the text from it, send it to your database in less than 5 minutes. Just got to use it. So, okay, that's what I got for today.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
Maybe one day you can do a class of this, please.